Thank you very much. I ask you to remain standing as we welcome Senator Lisa Jawayer to do the invocation.
Let us pray. Catholics, please sign yourselves. Almighty God, we want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for being with us today. We thank you for the young persons who are here to witness the official launching of the Youth Economy Agency, the flagship promised by the SLP administration under the leadership of Prime Minister Hon H.E Pierre. We thank you for allowing them to spare us a moment to celebrate this important initiative tonight. And we ask that you hasten the footsteps of those who are on their way. Grant us traveling mercies. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. We acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Development and the Youth Economy, and Minister for Justice and National Security. The Speaker of the House, the Honorable Claudius Francis, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Tourism, Investment, Creative Industries, Culture and Information, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, members of the Cabinet, members of the Senate, Ambassador for the Republic of China on Taiwan, His Excellency, Mr. Peter Shen, the Attorney General, the Honorable Leslie Mondesi, Permanent Secretaries in the various ministries, Deputy Permanent Secretaries as well, the Board of Directors and staff of the Youth Economy Agency, youth entrepreneurs, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, welcome to the launching ceremony of the Youth Economy Agency. My name is Lovely St. Amy Joseph. It is my privilege and pleasure to take you through tonight's proceedings. At this point, I would like to welcome Mr. Terry Finister to deliver the welcome remarks. He will tell us so much more about the Youth Economy Agency, the reason why we're here, why I am excited, you're excited, and young people across this country are excited.
Thank you so much, Lovely. Protocol having been established. Thank you all for making the time to be here this evening. And I think the fact that this room is so full bears testimony to the level, as Lovely said, of excitement that surrounds this initiative. And this initiative, of course, is the realization of a vision. It's the vision, of course, of the Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. And a lot of work has gone into making it a reality. And at the end of the day, this is not the culmination of the journey. This is the beginning of a new journey, not just for the Youth Economy Agency and not just for the government of St. Lucia, but the beginning of a journey for thousands of young St. Lucian entrepreneurs. We hear so often that the youth are the future. Well, I'm here to tell you that the youth are now. The youth are here and they have ideas. So many young people in here, and I see people here who I know are entrepreneurs, who are budding entrepreneurs, who are perhaps entrepreneurs of the mind at the moment, but just don't know how to translate their ideas, their thoughts, their hobbies, their pastimes into tangible business ideas. Well, that's what the Youth Economy Agency is here to do, to make those ideas manifest, to help you take your concepts and to make your concepts tangible, actual, reality, and reality that impacts you in a very substantial way. So we are going to, as the Youth Economy Agency, not only provide grants and loans and the processes to access those grants and loans are set out on our website, and we will certainly be providing further information through the various channels at our disposal, including our social media platforms. But in addition, we will also be helping empower youth by telling their stories, young entrepreneurs who may not necessarily have the sort of audience that allows them to take their business concepts and make those business concepts work for them. Maybe you're working a job right now, you're working for somebody, but you have a little idea, you're doing a little side hustle. But we want to see that side hustle become something that makes money for you and for your family and for your generations to come. We want to see that being translated, and we want to see that being transformed into the next big thing. And I know at least one of my directors will identify with the next big thing, having worked on just that television program some years ago. But we are taking the first steps this evening towards fulfilling the dreams of thousands of St. Lucians, of helping them have the business know-how, helping them develop the financial acumen, helping them develop the business planning skills, helping empower them in a really tangible way, a way that they can really take to the bank, literally. And so in the weeks, in the months, in the years to come, we hope that we will see the lives of young people across St. Lucia, our young entrepreneurs, being truly transformed, being truly reinvigorated, and making these young people the engine that drives our economy in a different way. We, of course, have to recognize the vision of the Prime Minister, who has really pushed to make this all happen here this evening. And of course, we must say a massive thank you to the people of the Republic of China, Taiwan, who facilitated the culmination of this part of the journey and who have set us on the path towards making reality the dreams of our young St. Lucian people. And so, with that having been said, I look forward to hearing a lot more of the stories and being able to help share a lot more of the stories of our young St. Lucian entrepreneurs as part of the Youth Economy Agency. And I thank you all once again for being here. And again, I welcome you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Finister. And I too was very moved listening to the Prime Minister explain the plight of our young people in St. Lucia, their frustration, their need to be heard, that demand for greater support, and to know that today, after all of the anticipation, that the government would hear their cry. We are finally here today to launch this agency, and I don't think we could have had a better person to lead the PR surrounding this movement. I really think it is a movement. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to share a video presentation on the initiative.
Hi, I am H.E Peter. I am the co-founder of Peter and Noel Enterprise, and we are CMOS farmers as well as agro-processors.
Hi, good day. My name is Riyad James. I am co-owner of The Local Bites. The Local Bites is a small company which creates chips using breadfruit, dashing, plantain, sweet potato, all of our local produce.
Hi, I'm Darren Sport from Dweevy. I believe the youth economy is a very cool initiative that will help us young entrepreneurs in St. Lucia
who want to venture into business and they do not know how to go about doing it, or they don't have the funds to actually start off. So having that put in place would benefit a lot of young persons like myself to either get a push with their business or get started initially.
The funding made available by the Youth Economy Agency will help The Local Bites in procuring the necessary equipment, resources, and even facilities to help The Local Bites become the best chip producer on the island.
We really need those kind of support and help. Thanks to the PM for really looking at this path and helping young persons in St. Lucia. So now that young person can be creative and, try to put their business together and put it out there.
So those who are at home and they just don't know what to do, instead of sitting around, you can go online, you can call your district rep and get to know more about the Youth Economy Agency and how they can help you moving forward.
Bites, specializing in mixed local chips and salsa. They're right outside our business expo. Be sure to sample some of their treats and you will understand that St. Lucian youth have everything it takes to be a success, and now they are receiving that much needed support through this initiative. We also have outside in our business expo project cocktails. So after the event, by all means, indulge in a cocktail from our young people. The company is called Project Cocktails. At this point, I have the privilege of welcoming the chairman of the agency, Mr. Thomas Leonce, to the podium. Put your hands together. Let's welcome Mr. Thomas Leonce.
Yeah, I learned that from my Green Synergy days with WLBL. I wish to adopt the protocol already established. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Yeah, St. Lucia. We are open for business. This initiative, the Youth Economy Initiative, makes me wish that I could turn back the hands of time. Turn it back to a time when I dreamt that the carboys I built in my youth could be sold in sufficient volume to fund my university education. We know of very popular vehicle brands like Suzuki, Toyota, and what have you. So if my dream had become a reality, I might have been driving Tom-Toms today. I also wish that I were able to turn back to a time where I dreamt that myself and my family were able to produce ice lollies, icicles, food coloring, green seasoning, because yes, we did produce all of those, but for lack of the right equipment, we were not able to produce at scale to meet the demand, not even in our small community. We see throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia evidence of persons engaging in micro-enterprise, producing quality products, but just missing that extra support to take it to the next level. My expectation, therefore, is that tonight, if any young person between the ages of 15 to 35 has a dream, then when you wake up in the morning, you will know that with the support of Ye, we shall help you turn that dream into reality. The Youth Economy Agency is a statutory entity which will serve as the vehicle to deliver the Youth Economy Program. We anticipate that the intervention of Ye will create an economic ecosystem touching every facet of life within our communities. Indeed, we expect Ye to be the catalyst of heightened economic activity in both rural and urban St. Lucia. A lot has happened since 2021 to bring the Youth Economy Agency to life. You have to draft the legislation. You have to constitute a board of directors. And whilst I'm on that score, I'd like to introduce our board members who are present, starting with Director Arnold. Just stand up so people can see. Mr. Arnold, if you will permit me to, is under 25. So that sends a signal. You have Mr. Mathre, Director Mathre. Director Lansico, under 35. I think we have Director Riviere somewhere hiding, I'm not sure. Or she's in the back there somewhere. Also, PS Emmanuel, Director Emmanuel, somewhere there, yeah. Unfortunately absent this evening because of flu is Director Foster. She's also under 25. So although I'm a bit long in the tooth, we still have a fair balance of young persons on the board. So as I was saying, you have to draft the legislation, constitute the board, open a bank account, not so easy these days, recruit staff, secure office space, procure furniture and equipment, install communications infrastructure. So that's why it has taken a bit of time to get this thing going. And I understand it has built anxiety and anticipation, which I like. Of course, you may also have seen snippets of the Ye logo this evening, created by a young entrepreneur. And here is a rationale for it. You may be asking, what's this about, you know? So for those of you who scanned the QR code earlier on, you probably have a look. At the bottom there, the orange represents Y, meaning youth, yeah? So the Y within the icon shows the vibrancy and agility of our youth, depicting hands in the air. The E, which is that the two turquoise swooshes on top right with the white of the orange swoosh below it, represents the economy. The upward motion represents economic growth within the youth sector. The colors. Orange, the color of youth, exudes warmth, joy, enthusiasm, and an overall fun color which provides emotional strength. Turquoise embodies growth and clarity, integral parts within the economy. Our economy is in a constant state of evolution. Evolution driven by the advent of the information age. Evolution driven by a constant flux in the drivers of economic activity. Drivers such as agriculture, manufacturing, and now tourism. And if I may dwell on tourism for a little bit, even that industry is in a constant state of evolution. Some questions for young persons who may be listening. What is the population of St. Lucia? Most of you will instinctively say 180,000. But with visitors coming to our shores every week, our population, I would say, is closer to 500,000. What is the opportunity presented to feed more than twice our native population? How are we taking advantage of the World Wide Web so that we make our services known to a potential visitor from Czech Republic, Slovenia, China, Japan, Taiwan? Yeah? Whether that service is to provide accommodation, curating a tour experience, so we can upsize and expand the chair on the beach experience. Yeah? What are some of the gaps that exist currently in terms of the visitor experience that can be filled? Can they drive from Rodney Bay to Chassin without getting lost multiple times along the way? What is the opportunity here? Because Google Maps is not yet 100% right in St. Lucia. So think about it. If you're driving from Vieux-Fort to Castries and you put Castries in Google Maps, it'll take you through Desglos. Try it and you'll see. The year as we know it is the brainchild of the Honorable Prime Minister, Philippe J. Pierre, and we expect that the Honorable Prime Minister will further articulate very passionately the dream that led to him creating a platform to make young persons the focus of economic activity in St. Lucia. Later this evening, some young persons will be receiving from the Prime Minister various amounts in pre-approved or kickstart grants, as we call it. We expect to engage with these young persons in the coming days to ensure that the funds are quickly disbursed and put to the use for which they have been identified. So please do not line up outside the young person's home tomorrow. There is no check in there. They have not won the lottery. But we do hope that their business initiative, with the support of ye, will return a bonanza to them and the wider St. Lucian community in the months and years to come. I thank you.
I'm certainly jealous at this point. I did not get a theme song, Mr. Leos. You were keeping that in your bag. So, Mr. DJ, can I get a yay yay? No yay yay for me? Oh, sad. Hopefully we'll get a yay yay for our next presenter. From the Commonwealth Secretariat, put your hands together. Let's welcome Mr. Lane Robinson. No yay.
Chairperson, Honorable Prime Minister, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Commonwealth Secretary General and the staff of the Commonwealth Secretariat based here in London, it is our absolute pleasure to be associated with this very important and wonderful event taking place in St. Lucia. This is the year of youth. 2023 has been declared the year of youth. It gives us great pleasure to see St. Lucia taking the lead in establishing this wonderful youth agency as a symbol of its commitment to the young people. I believe this is one of the first agencies of its kind anywhere across the Commonwealth, where it is established a space that is solely designed for the economic empowerment of young people in St. Lucia. I think it is a revolutionary concept that needs to be shared more widely across the rest of the Commonwealth, and I hope that in time, other member states will be able to engage with the Prime Minister and the government to learn about how this project is evolving how this program has been established and how it will thrive and succeed going into the future. And so in this year, 2023, it is absolutely critical that member states, leaders of our countries, take the leadership, take the vision that they have, take the inspiration that they have, and invest all of that in the young people of the Commonwealth. And I think we congratulate St. Lucia in leading the way in doing this. And I think that as we look back in years to come, this will be seen as one of the key moments in the Year of the Youth that we will want to celebrate as we reflect on the achievements of our young people in the Commonwealth. This year also is the 50th anniversary of the Commonwealth Youth Program, a program that has been established by our leaders because of their interest in young people. And this year we are calling on all stakeholders from the private sector, young people, civil society, stakeholders of every kind, to really take a look at the young people that they have in their countries, the challenges that they are facing in education, in employment, the challenges in mental health, the challenges in almost every aspect of life, and to take that look seriously and call for greater investments in young people. The economic empowerment of young people is perhaps the most important of those investments. But alongside it, we also want to see young people being empowered politically and socially, because it is their opportunity, it is their time to really shine in the world. And I think coming out of a very challenging pandemic, seeing young people realize their vision for the future, the vision that we want to see, will be absolutely important. And so the Commonwealth stands with St. Lucia, and as you would know, we are investing in 10,000 scholarships all across the Commonwealth. And St. Lucia is the first beneficiary of these scholarships on digital skills. We really believe that it is all about skills. It's all about entrepreneurship skills, the soft skills, digital skills of the future. And it's our pleasure to present St. Lucia with these over 200 scholarships from that 10,000 scholarships that we hope will be used to inspire and motivate young people in St. Lucia to get into technology more than they are doing even now. We're doing this because, technology is the way forward. Technology pervades almost every aspect of our lives now. And I think if we have the right skills, those digital skills, it doesn't matter the size of the country or the size of the population, those digital skills can transcend and spread worldwide. And I think this is one of the solutions that we hope the Youth Agency will establish, will strengthen, and will expand all across the country. And we congratulate Simple Learn, our partner in this initiative, who is working with us to spread digital skills all across the Commonwealth and indeed all across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Prime Minister, distinguished guests, the Commonwealth is very proud of this moment. And just to say, we look forward to seeing where this will go. We look forward to see how the Youth Economy Agency will be established. We look forward to seeing how digital skills, entrepreneurship skills, soft skills of every kind will be rolled out across St. Lucia. We look forward to learning the lessons from you and sharing that with the rest of the Commonwealth. And we hope that this Year of Youth will be one that is long remembered, not because it is celebrated all across the Commonwealth, but primarily because St. Lucia played its role in contributing to making this Year of Youth a success across the Commonwealth. So again, on behalf of the Commonwealth Secretary General, the 1.5 billion young people across the Commonwealth, the many young people who are looking onwards to see what next, what will happen, how will things be different, we thank you and celebrate with you at the start of this moment. And we look forward, if you have our full support, we look forward to seeing how we can work together to make the Youth Agency and all the other policy recommendations that you have in St. Lucia come to fruition. Thank you so much again, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. We wish that as we go forward with you, success will always be yours. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.
First of its kind, I heard words like revolutionary. So we have every reason to be proud, and we have every reason to salute our Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, because we are the pioneers. So please put your hands together for our Prime Minister, everyone behind the scenes who has made this possible, and most of all, our young people of St. Lucia. At this time, we welcome Mrs. Crystal Riviere to tell us more about the Caribbean Digital Skills Training Program.
Good evening, all. It is awesome to see a room filled with young, youthful faces. Welcome to the Youth Economy Agency. We look forward to seeing every one of you at some point in the office of the agency on Chaussee Road, Castries, as soon as our doors are officially open. In the meantime, of course, you're going to get information on how you can access the website, because our work has begun in earnest, and there are young people who have been already applying for the grants and loans that are available to the young people between the ages of 15 and 35. All right, so on the Commonwealth Digital Skills Training Program, you heard from Mr. Lane Robinson, and I would like to speak on how does this benefit St. Lucian young people. There is a form available on www.youtheconomy.lc. You will hear a lot about www.youtheconomy.lc. And it is for young people between the ages of 18 and 35 who are graduates of a tertiary institution. Not only your bachelor's, but there are other professional qualifications you may have already received in the line of technology, digital training, IT, and so on. You can apply. And these are the areas of interest or areas of priority for St. Lucia. I am going to go through it because you may hear something and go like, oh, I could do that. And the reason that we would like for you to apply is because technology is the way forward. E-governance is the way forward. If there's anything COVID taught us, is that we cannot neglect technological advancement. And so these are our areas of priority. Big data certification training, big data for data engineering, blockchain development, build real-world websites from scratch using HTML5 and CSS3, business analytics with Excel, CCSP, Certificate Cloud Security Professional, Certified Cloud Security Professional, CompTIA Network Plus, CompTIA Security Plus 601, Data Analysis and Visualization with Python, Data Science with Python, Data Science with R Programming, Introduction to Artificial Intelligence, Introduction to Cybersecurity, Introduction to Data Analytics course, Introduction to LOT, L-O, capital T, Introduction to Robotic Process Automation, RPA, Java training, JavaScript and jQuery in 7 days, JavaScript certification training, Linux training, machine learning, Microsoft Project 2019, programming refresher, Python training, statistics essential for data science. So if anything you've heard interests you, please do apply. You will be certified, and of course that will increase your opportunities for employment in St. Lucia, outside of St. Lucia, and for you to be able to contribute meaningfully to our economy and the youth economy. Thank you very much.
Now, you've certainly received information for you to keep at the forefront of your brains, young people, but we're not just about giving you the information and the speeches tonight. I always like to say, Jen Mun Setli Sina Shai Gum, so we are about to see some of that. We have a spoken word performance. Put your hands together. Let's welcome Naomi Patrick Smith.
Good evening. Rising star. Powerful. That's what you are. Full to bursting like a supernova waiting to explode. And with that explosion comes the release of what's within. Ideas that are evolving, transforming, transcending dreams, metamorphizing into bustling realities. Powerful. That's what you are. Seeing yourself beyond the box they want to put you in, seeing your possibilities. An explosion of talent, skills, repurposed in ways their stay within the line brains could never comprehend. Powerful, the way your brain works. Making connections where connectivity was never once an option. Becoming creators, innovators, despite the naysayers. So much good can come out of the youth. It simply comes down to what they are taught, how they are nurtured. In our actions, in our words, our deeds, when we think they're not looking. The cosmic energy that gets their atoms moving. Have you ever wondered how a star is born? Those giant energy sources in the sky? It's not by chance. Neither are they made in tranquility. When atoms of light elements are squeezed under enough pressure, their nuclei undergo fusion. These fusion reactions will never happen without this massive compression. Make your difficulties that compression. Your failures, your heartbreaks, insecurities, that compression. A compression that forces you to be more than even you thought you could be. Become a star that you are meant to be. You are powerful beyond measure. Use that power within and come to win, to fight, to conquer, to thrive and come to win, to survive, to prosper, to rise, to fly, to fly.
Thank you very much. That was Naomi Patrick Smith. At this point, I would like to recognize our decorator, 28-year-old Jerona Antal. She is the general manager of Lucian Country Life, Inc., responsible for our decor here tonight. So our young people are blazing a trail in all spheres. And speaking of our young people, the gentleman who represents their interests, it is my pleasure to welcome to the podium the Minister for Youth Development and Sports. Put your hands together. Let's welcome the Honorable Henson Casimir.
Thank you very much, lovely. And of course, I would like to adopt the protocol established, but I want to recognize the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, who, when he first announced a youth economy, had many of us scratching our head until we all saw the visionary man that he actually is. So let's put our hands together again for the Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Of course, Deputy Prime Minister Hon, Speaker of the House, the Ambassador, the great ambassador, I must say, who has been providing so much support for youth and sports development. And tonight, we're seeing something historic happening in St. Lucia, and it's because of the contribution of Taiwan and the Taiwanese ambassador that we can all be here today and get this done. So thank you so much. Of course, my other cabinet colleagues, other members of staff from the different ministries, young people, Ampa, Alebakayadla. I had to drop that little word in because I found out tonight his name was Brandon. Our talented people in St. Lucia needed a government, and they needed a government who understood what they've been going through in their maturation. Our talented people needed somebody to say, I believe in you. They needed somebody to not just say, I believe in you, but they needed somebody to prove to them that they believed in them. And so I stand here proud to be part of a government that is putting young people first. I stand here proud to be part of a government that is putting their money and the resources where their mouth is. And of course, we had so many naysayers during our time, so many people that despite understanding some of the social ills we faced, despite understanding that the injection and belief in our young people was the way to go, still doubted, still lingered. But our young people, though we may say so many things about them, we know, and this government is confident, that if we provide them with the support that they need, they can truly and truly thrive. We always speak about Sir Arthur Lewis and Derek Walcott. We always speak about St. Lucia having intelligent young people, but it was not enough for us to always speak about it. It was not enough for us to just believe on the side that they can do it. It is important that we show them. And so tonight, when the Prime Minister finally gives the first set of persons that contribution from this youth economy agency, it will signal to St. Lucia, will signal to the Windward Islands, the Caribbean, and of course the rest of the world, including the Commonwealth, that there is something special happening in St. Lucia. I listened to Mr. Robinson from the Commonwealth Secretariat, and I remember having conversations with him on a trip to Kigali. And I remember that Commonwealth pledged 10,000 scholarships for Commonwealth young people in the digital economy. It signaled that Commonwealth saw it fit that very early on you need to take the talents, the skills of young people, and you need to nurture those talents and turn it into entrepreneurship. And we know that the digital economy is a very important aspect of the development of young people. I sat and I watched the host do her thing, and I remember the first time at NBC that I sat down to read a script. It was her advising me that this is the way to go. This is how you do it. You're going too fast. Now you're going too slow. but she was an individual who understood what a sportscaster should be. With the youth economy, we'll be providing training for persons who have those basic raw skills to flourish. We'll be providing marketing. We're providing everything, the fertile soil for young people to sprout and grow. And so today, I want to congratulate the young people of St. Lucia. Unfortunately, I do not qualify anymore. I do have another colleague who does, Jeremiah Robert. But we want to encourage everybody to make use of this opportunity. Make use of this opportunity, and I'm very sure that in the coming years, we'll be looking back at this moment where a young individual, male or female, took this opportunity and became multi-millionaires in St. Lucia. This is the faith we as a government have in young people. You need to see it, you need to believe it, you need to do it. Let's get it done. Thank you so much.
That's the thing about young people this generation. You hear buzzwords like creativity, innovation, but also collaboration. We're not afraid to learn from each other. I'm so proud every time I see the Honorable Kenson Casimir, because like he explained, we sat at MBC and we're going over those scripts. And I don't think there's a big difference in age. I think we're right outside, just on the border of that 35. So that is one of the themes that young people carry in their hearts. That ability to come together, to fuse our creativity and collaborate for the betterment of an institution, for the betterment of our country. And I look forward to seeing so much collaboration among our young people. At this time, we have another talented young person. Michael Fletcher is going to give us a special musical treat. Put your hands together for young Michael Fletcher. All right, young Mr. Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher, I'd like to call you back on stage. 2 reasons. I really do want to know how old he is, but I also want you to hear the bass in that voice. Mr. Fletcher, how old are you? Say hello to our audience.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
How old are you?
I'm 16 years old.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fletcher. You certainly heard what I was talking about. I think that's a broadcaster's dream at 16 to have that sort of resonance that brings across this level of gravitas to this young man. At this point, oh my, what a pleasure to welcome Miss Kithlyn Carew to deliver the feature address. Soft-spoken, but a woman to be reckoned with. I think she's an inspiration not just across St. Lucia, but across the region, across the world, truly doing amazing work in terms of agriculture, food security, youth development, narrowing the gender gap. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Miss Kithlyn Carew.
While the protocol has been established, allow me to recognize the presence of Honorable Philip J. Pierre, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, also the Ambassador of Taiwan to St. Lucia, Mr. Peter Chen, other members of the Parliament of St. Lucia and the Cabinet of St. Lucia, the board and staff of the Youth Economy Agency, stakeholders, and of course, most importantly, our budding young entrepreneurs. Good evening. I think I can say on behalf of the entire collective that we are all thrilled to finally see the launch of the Youth Economy Agency, a concept that we had heard and wondered about for almost 2 years. It is even more timely that it is being launched in 2023, the Year of the Youth, and of course, in my opinion, a day before International Women's Day, which in my mind is an indication that the agency will be gender mainstreaming its processes, including ensuring a healthy balance between the distribution of opportunities going to both rural and urban youth. But more than that, this agency comes at a time when opportunity is scarce and innovation is blindsided by get-rich-quick schemes and what seems like a growing sense of hopelessness. A few weeks ago, I attended the Independence Lecture in this very room, led by Sir Hilary Beckles, and one of his statements really struck with me was that the Caribbean was designed as an economic zone of wealth extraction. And being somebody that likes challenges, I said to myself, how could we re-engineer this and create a region of wealth creation? And to me, the answer is simple: entrepreneurship. Probably like many of you, I went through the school system not knowing what it meant to be an entrepreneur. The idea was really very simple. I go to school, I do well, I get a good job, I get a nice little pension, and then I retire. Very simple. But being a millennial, no one prepared me for the fact that a degree doesn't assure me a job. On top of that, the bank where I took my student loan doesn't necessarily care if I had gotten a job and wants their money as soon as possible. So it didn't make sense to me. I took a loan to get a good job so I could pay back my debt. So how am I supposed to be now in double debt? I'm without a job and I have a big loan. I felt like I was being lied to. So that began essentially my constant flow of side hustles, from personal shopping to selling clothing items on eBay, starting a social media agency for immigrant businesses that didn't know how to use these platforms, to even freelancing. So if you needed a resume or a college essay, you could check me. I learned quick and fast that the 9-to-5 job that everyone was telling me to study hard for just didn't cut it. But it started me thinking about the people around me. My parents both had full-time jobs, an accounts clerk and a teacher. But even though they say that they never really recognized that they had side hustles, my father always had a farm, And my mother, as my grandfather aged, would manage his banana farm. And since my grandfather never learned to drive, she and I would take on his banana days, we'd go into his khaki Mitsubishi FAR to drop off the bananas. And of course, she'd get paid for her part, and I would get also my little weekly allowance. But to be honest, my grandmother was the real McCoy. She was the one with the constant supply of money, and I wanted to know how. She was the real hustler. She had her clients at the market. To be honest, her tray was never left full. When I think about it in society, she was a vendor, and while all her children had office jobs, it was those same children in the three-piece suits that would come and ask her for money. So it wasn't adding up. That was my first rule of entrepreneurship. There's no shame, no pride involved when you're running a business. You have to put aside what people may think when you have a goal. My grandmother's goal was to educate all of her children, and she got that done, even though it was selling produce at the market. Second rule of entrepreneurship was when you establish a business, you have to take risks. When I conceptualized Helen's Daughters, and I'm just going to take a quick side note, the third rule of business, pick a name better than Helen's Daughters. I wish I could turn back the hands of time, especially now as we operate in St. Vincent and St. Kitts, because now I have to make up a story about who's Helen. But back to the second rule. When I established HD, I was in my second year at the UN. Of course, my parents, they have bragging rights. They were over the moon. I was from Foaso, Babono, and I was now at the UN. Any parent's dream. But I wasn't content with my work. I felt that I could do more and wanted to do more, particularly for my country and my region, and I was just stuck. Now, at the time, I kept hearing about the idea of social enterprise, particularly in West Africa. And I had a friend who actually left the World Bank to start a social enterprise in his home country of Ghana, and that planted the seed. Because I saw that similar to there is a gap in the support for women-owned agribusinesses, particularly for women like my grandmother, who weren't classed as farmers, but who contributed significantly to their households. Now, I'm sure many of you who perhaps know what I do probably asked why I'm speaking tonight because I run a nonprofit organization. But truth be told, Helen's Daughters has always been a social enterprise. My clients are my farmers. Our mission is driven by their interests and their individual gains and profits, not our collective gain. We sell hope and the ability to make a change, and we do so without financial reliance on the state, I might add. Like any other business, for the first 3 years, I put up my own capital using my salary to show proof of concept until I could get funding, or like I say, until I got my investors. We market our organization just like a private enterprise. We try to attract new clients and funders, and finally, we provide a good product, one that our clients are happy with, and the other one that our investors are happy with as well. And in terms of risk, I was willing to leave the UN at the right time. After 5 years of operating Helen's Daughters, I took a calculated risk when I was sure of our funding model to head this social enterprise. I honestly think, I think this year was the first year that my mother had stopped crying over that jump. Which brings me to the fourth rule of entrepreneurship. Where do you lie in the ecosystem? Are you a small business? And there's nothing wrong, especially with niche businesses. Are you a startup that can be scaled? Are you potentially a large company, or are you a social enterprise? Do you understand your model? Do you understand your audience and your potential investors? Have you shown proof of concept, and what are you willing to do to sacrifice? While we glorify entrepreneurs today, it comes with many, many risks and sacrifices, just as there are rewards. And typically, the rewards don't last as long, because an entrepreneur's journey is a marathon, not a sprint. There aren't sick days or off days. There are no time limits. You have to be willing to eat, sleep, and dream about your business. Finally, to you, the Youth Economy Agency, you have the opportunity to transform our country. We are literally at a crossroads where idle minds lead to reckless and life-changing events. Our young men and women need you and need this agency. They need the funding, the training, the support. Before I got invited I was super excited about presenting. And then literally when I touched back in St. Lucia on Sunday, I got news that my cousin, my mother's nephew, was shot and killed. Jason was an entrepreneur. He was a bus driver who literally put a smile on everyone's face. On the weekends, he did tours, just about anything involving transport and logistics. He was your go-to guy. And I honestly believed he could have been a success story in the next 10 years. Now all I'm left with is what if? What if the assailant had another opportunity other than the life and actions he chose? What if my cousin did have 40 or 50 more years? Let us not be a country of what ifs, but rather what next? What next successful entrepreneur can we mold? What new business can we scale outside of St. Lucia's shores? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to make our mark and create a thriving opportunity for St. Lucia's youth. I'll be watching very closely, and so will many others. I wish the very best for this agency, and of course, I wish our incoming entrepreneurs to take full advantage of this opportunity. And remember, entrepreneurship is not a part-time or full-time job. It's a lifestyle. Thank you.
That was the Executive Director of Helen's Daughters Young People. Let her be a powerful example to you of what is possible. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. And I think I came up with your theme song. So it's every day I'm hustling, hustling, hustling. She's the ultimate hustler. And as you heard from her, she comes from a long line of hustlers. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, and I have to ask you to give him a resounding round of applause because this initiative is his baby, his brainchild. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Let's welcome the Honorable Philip J. Pierre.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ceremonies. And to show you the independence of thought that I have, I didn't even know she would be the Minister of Ceremonies. Let me welcome and thank the members of the Cabinet, the Deputy Prime Minister, the members of the Cabinet for leaving Parliament and coming to this launching. Let me recognize the Ambassador of Taiwan. That's what happens when you talk too much in the Parliament. Let me recognize the members of the Youth Economy Agency Board, and a special thanks to the guest speaker, and thank her for a wonderful address, which I think she needs a round of applause for. Recognize the Jeremiah Job, the Managing Director of the St. Lucia Development Bank. The body will be coming to you. And the young people will also be coming to you. The Cabinet Secretary, Speaker of the House, the Attorney General, everyone. One would have said, why would I, long away from being a youth, would want to get involved in something called a youth economy? But most people know me as a politician. But you know, one of the secrets that I hold is I was an entrepreneur long before I was 35. And it was because of the courage and the belief in myself that I thought I could buck the system and get involved in opposition politics when I was not yet 35. Because I had confidence, not only in myself, but confidence in young people as a collective. And this is why I thought, after discussion with the late Owen Affer, who I'm sure Dr. Hila knows very well, we were speaking about the economy and the plans for St. Lucia and how the region could deal with the economic issues. And he said to me, do you know we do not cater in terms of business for what we call the largest sector of the population, which is young people. And he said to me, we have to have an economy for the young. These were his exact words, an economy for the young. And that discussion was to be continued, and he sent me a note where he spoke about the economy for the young. And God bless his soul, he passed away. And I still have that concept note. And I thought of it, and I said to myself, why don't we have a youth economy? And you know, when you come up with these ideas, most people ridicule you. They think that youth economy, what nonsense you talking about? Because it's different, and what they'll tell you is that the youth, they have Bell Fund, they have youth in agriculture, youth in this, youth in that. Why do you need a youth economy? And I said to myself, you need a youth economy because you need an agile, a flexible organization that will allow young people to convert their hobbies into entrepreneurship and their skills into business. And what the agency ought to do is to train them, to help them with training, with mentorship, with marketing, and with finance. And I'm very happy to tell you, and that's not political, that is fact. The Labour Party is the only government of St. Lucia that has passed legislation specifically for the young people of St. Lucia. In 1997, the new government, and at that time, we had the youngest member of parliament as a minister, the Honorable Minister Hon, was just 21 years of age. That is the history of St. Lucia, the Labour Party, 1997. And we passed in Parliament the National Youth Council Incorporation Act, which was a legal and legitimate body representing youth throughout the island. And what were the objectives? To promote the active participation of youth in the economic, social, cultural, and political life of St. Lucia. The National Youth Council, Act of Parliament, the first Act of Parliament ever passed directly for young people. And now, in 2022, we passed in the Youth Economy Bill, the second set of legislation aimed directly at the welfare and the improvement of young people. So, our record, as far as young people is concerned, as a government, is there for everyone to see. Universal secondary school education, the National Stadium, the youngest Minister of Government, in terms of gender, first woman Governor General, all over, empowering young people and women. So the Youth Economy Agency is just a natural thing, a natural development where we can mainstream young people in the economic development of St. Lucia. But the Youth Economy Agency will not work alone. They will work with the other agencies of the government. They'll work with the Ministry of Tourism as far as village tourism is concerned. And the chairman made a point, which I've pondered upon. We have about 1 million people who come to St. Lucia every year as visitors, about 1 million. 700 as cruise passengers, and over 300, nearly 400,000 as stayover visitors. Think about it. Just think about it. Think about the things that young people can do for that captive market. Just think about it. And if young people think, as I know they can think, And if you give them the opportunity, think of what they can do for these million people that visit St. Lucia. Just think about it. Just think. And if you think, you'll understand that with a little help, not a lot of money, and I want to hasten to add that young people will make mistakes. Someone they will take the money and buy jeans. But yes, it's a fact. Young people will make mistakes. Adults make mistakes. Why? So you will lose a few. Of course you'll lose a few. But it is better if we lose a few $1,000. And I make no bones about it. If we lose a few $1,000 on young entrepreneurs who went wrong, then spend it on young men. True. And we thought that in the agency, we could think out of the box. Working in creative industries, music. I'm not saying that because the Denry segment is here. That is our history. That is our history. In I think it's the year 2000, Invest St. Lucia, which was a National Development Corporation, gave loans for musicians to buy equipment, for sound engineering. That is our history. We've done it before. Our history of young people is clear. And look at what we can produce. And if we develop it, Jamaica survived during the economic times on music. We have our Denry segment. We can develop it. We must be proud of it. We can develop it, and they are already world class. They can be world renowned, and they can earn a living for themselves, for their family, and for the country. This is the vision of the youth economy. We can work with the Ministry of Sports. And I know sometimes I'm read wrongly when I talk about sports and young people. When I said some people thought the agency was to give young people football boots. It's not that. You know, I have seen a young man, in fact, three of them, who got a deal to play basketball in France. All he needed was 1,000 euros. The coach said to him, if you get to France, I'll pick you up here, and then the sky is the limit. He could not afford 1,000 euros. Couldn't afford it. If there was an agency where he could go to, they ought to be able to give him 1,000 euros, because his skill is a business. He'll become a professional basketball player and be a businessman and make money, and who knows, could be Michael Jordan. But he needed that start, and that's what the agency can do. So it wasn't only to give football boots, it was to help young people who have that talent and that ability, but they have the opportunity, but they don't have the finance. You have cricketers, the world of T20 cricket, where you can literally become a millionaire. But you need the gear, you need the training, you need the equipment, you need the diet, you need everything. You need it. And that is what the youth economy can do. That is how we will think out of the box. So a young man is a good cricketer, you pay a coach for him, you give him his diet, you give him a regime, and he becomes a good cricketer. These are the things we want to do. We can work in the Ministry of Education, and we've started there. 1 university graduate per household. We can develop it. The youth economy can develop that. The Ministry of Agriculture. The youth economy will work with all these different agencies, and I come to the bank. The development bank has to be an integral part of the youth economy. The bank cannot have the same requirements for young people as they have for other business people. And that is why we've started the injection of capital into the St. Lucia Development Bank, because we believe it has to be a vehicle of progress for the people of St. Lucia, for the young people of St. Lucia. So I really want to thank the members of the cabinet, because I know we spoke about that in the campaign. We developed it, and it took some time, and the cynicism began to creep in. Oh, so long you're talking about that. I expect that from young people, you know. If young people are not critical, if young people are not thinking out of the box, if young people do not challenge and buck the system, they're not young people. You know? When I was young, I bucked the system in many ways. You understand? So when you see we go and we condemn them as this and that, but the difference between now and then is I could take chances, and young people nowadays cannot take chances. And that's the difference. That's the basic difference. In our time, we fought with our fists, and as soon as the fight is over, we shake hands and we're done with that. We used to plan to fight in college. So a man interfere with you on Monday, you see, you and I will be fighting on Friday. So on Friday, come down, cross the field. There was a place where there was something like a little boxing ground, and men begin to fight there. And when the fight is, if somebody decides to take something like a bat, no weapons. That was like no weapons. And the fight is over, you shake hands, and you're going home. You finish fight, done. We could take these chances. In many things, we could take chances that young people nowadays cannot take these chances in. So sometimes I feel very sorry in that young people cannot take chances. They cannot do what I did. They don't have the freedom because of the environment and the circumstances that surround them. So I do not condemn them. So the Youth Economy Agency will try to have an economic space for young people. An area where young people can bring their dreams, training. Look at what's happening with the export of goods from St. Lucia already. Look at the things we can do with sea moss and honey, etc. Let's just think about expanding that. Think about the young people working with the Export Development Agency of St. Lucia. Just think about it. Coming together and doing the kind of things we can do with sea moss and with honey and with other crops that we can grow. So, the sky is really the limit. And we must be brave, we must be daring. We must not be so pessimistic. We must not look at the glass always half empty. The glass is half full. There is too much negativity pervading in this country at this time. We have to have a little more confidence in ourselves. We have to have more confidence in ourselves as a people. We have to have more confidence in our ability. We are people that we take that as a joke. We've created 2 Nobel laureates. And look at the talent that exists in this country. Look at the talent. Look at Dr. Cato, Dr. Paris, look at the people. Look at the men and women who are in the cabinet. There's a lot of talent in this country. Father Anthony. Look at the people who run institutions in this country. But we're too pessimistic. We do not believe that we can do it as a people. We do not believe that you can be whatever you aim at being if you have the help and the discipline without having a name. We do not believe that it's our right to attain the highest office in the country, our right to become millionaires, our right to create wealth for ourselves and for our family, our right to be sustainable. And this is what I implore the members of the board of the youth economy to do. I did not get involved in anything that's happening there. You can attest to that. Because I want to give them the independence so that they can do. Young people must be independent. They'll make mistakes. Why are you afraid of making mistakes like that? But the organization must be flexible. It must be agile. A young man or young woman must be able to come in there with a good plan. And sometimes it's not a lot of money, you know. $1,000, $1,005. That can transform an entire life. We must be able to give it to them. Literally give it to them. And take a chance with them. Don't let them find out kind of people who your mother was, your father, your godfather, your granddad. No, I'm serious about it. I mean, this is nonsense. There are people who came into this country with nothing. Nothing. N-O-T-H-I-N-G, nothing. And they were fortunate. They had the right connections. They work in a bank. And then they end up as being millionaires. Why can't we give a young person St. Lucia a chance with $2,000? Why must we tie him to saying, boy, can you manage that money? Will you manage it? Sign this guarantee. Collateral. And fill a form, 7 forms, 8 forms. Get a JP to sign. Insurance. You know? All kind of things. No. Listen, there must be accountability, you know. There must be accountability. But we must understand the environment in which you operate in. So this is not an agency that you just throw away money. There must be accountability. But there must be flexibility and there must be agility. So I wish them well. I want to thank the government of Taiwan for the initial investment. Because initially we had no money. But the government of Taiwan made the initial investment and the government of St. Lucia has kicked in after that. And the office is on Chaussee Road. You know why? Because we are beginning now to stigmatize areas of St. Lucia. We're on Chaussee Road. You don't know why we're on Chaussee Road? Because it must be inclusive. Because the guy living in Black Malay and Mondidon, who is a good musician, who can produce and needs a computer, he needs to be able to come somewhere to get it. He needs to be able to come somewhere to get it. And he's on Chaussee Road, so he knows that there are people there who will cater for him. The same way with some other entrepreneur who has a big idea, he can come down too. Inclusive. Everybody must have an opportunity. We cannot afford to ostracize a large section of our community because of where they live. We cannot do that. We cannot judge people by their addresses. That's right, we've reached a time in this country where some people are afraid to put their address. They put post office box Castries. And they go and take their mail instead of putting their address. But I can assure you, when some of the people who say them people, when they want to see them, drive the car up their rail. So you must stop this stigmatization. We must stop this idea of trying to develop 2 St. Lucias. We must stop it. And the Youth Economy Agency will get young people to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of value in the training. And it's not only going to be training in business, there's got to be training in life skills, but you've got to be training in all sorts of things to get what the guest speaker spoke about, a well-rounded entrepreneur. Training, life skills, living. You understand? So right now, my job is just provide the finance for the agency. The finance. I want to thank my cabinet colleagues because they stuck with me. It was a long time coming. And that was a manifesto pledge, page 13 of the manifesto. That was the manifesto pledge that he made to the people of St. Lucia, page 13. And as time goes, we're ticking off the promises that we made. It's not an easy road. We haven't done everything. We haven't done everything. But these men and women stuck with me, even though they may have some misgivings. And I have no issues when people have misgivings about me, you know. But the proof of the eating is in the pudding. Or the pudding is in the eating. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. So you can have misgivings. I have no problem with that. I'm a social scientist. I believe in evidence, and I believe you judge me by my deeds. You can never read anybody's heart. My dad always tells me that. You can't read your wife. You can't read anybody's heart. So why are we trying to read people's hearts and read people's motives and spend a lot of time saying that man like me, this man, that? It doesn't make any sense. That's negative. You can't read any heart, comrades. You can't. Let's not try to read hearts. Let's try to deal with motives. Let's try to deal with actions. Let's judge a man and woman by what they do, by how they act, and by what they produce. Thank you very much.
Let's give him another round of applause. So you heard from our Prime Minister an inclusive initiative, an inclusive agency, and I so look forward to seeing some of our young people down the coast, of course, because you know I'm from Choiseul, work in Soufrière. So shout out to our Choiselian and Soufrière youth. Be sure to take advantage of this initiative. By the way, Umpa, I think around this time you should be making a presentation to the Prime Minister, the T-shirt, I'm only here for the Dennery segment. Yeah, I think he's only here for the Dennery segment. It's too bad we don't have any Dennery segment. Maybe we can have Umpa do an impromptu performance after. Build a youth economy agency. It's all right. It's all right. At this point, I would like to welcome, as they say, all good things must come to an end, Mr. Nikolai Lansiko. He is going to deliver our closing remarks. Wait. Before we do that, I get to have my Oprah moment. You get a prize, you get a prize, you get a prize, you get a prize. Yes, there are prizes for everyone in attendance. So as you're leaving, you can collect a gift pack on your way out. You get a prize, you get a prize. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and let's welcome, I think our chairman. I tried to rob you of your money. Young people, you were going to let me get away with this? We have our award of initial grants. We cannot skip that. The pièce de résistance. So at this point, I would like to call back to the podium our Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, as he makes the presentation of the grants to our young people.
Good evening again. And please forgive me, when I was here earlier, I was so excited. I did not adopt the protocol, and I will correct that error now. I am adopting the protocol that has been established by our MC. I want to say that the grants that we are awarding this evening are not all. There are just a few. There have been so many applications that the evaluation committee has been inundated, and they, according to the act, have a very short space of time with which to respond to all the people who have applied for the grants. So we're just giving a few this evening. However, that doesn't mean that if you're not called up here this evening, that your application was denied. Understood? All right. So I am going to call up the few people who will be receiving the initial grant. And first, we're going to call Lance Peter. Lance Peter from Project Cocktail, who was outside earlier and who has some more cocktails available for those of you who might be a little bit thirsty. Lance Peter is from Active Hill in Castries. I will call on, secondly, Sherwin Alexander. Sherwin Alexander. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. And Mr. Riyad James. Riyad James. I am so sorry. Riyad James is from Bypass in Dennery. And he also is one of the entrepreneurs with the gift bags outside for everybody. Mr. Levi Jabatis, who is from Oleon. He's from Richford in Dennery. Mr. Lance Shepherd. Lance Shepherd is from Canaries. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not put down the addresses. Please forgive me. And we have next Mr. Coyote James, who is from Castries Central. Mr. Frederick. Coyote James. Oh, not a problem. Oh, wow, you have blurry vision. That is interesting because Mr. James here is the entrepreneur from Real 3D Printing. Take your time. Awesome. Next, we have from Marsha in Castries, Mr. Jermaine Bennett of Bennett's Local Manufacturers. Honorable Jeremiah Norbert, did you enjoy the cashew brittle from Mr. Bennett here? All right. Next, we have Mr. Cornel Lionel from Marisol in Grosley, who is a fitness instructor. And the interesting thing about the form is that you're supposed to write, how do you believe that the grant will benefit your business? And Mr. Lionel here, the grant will benefit his business by ensuring that his clients live a healthy lifestyle. Miss Tamiki Albert. And I believe Tamiki Albert is coming all the way from Choiseul. Am I correct, Miss Albert? Miss Kenya Central Maine. From Bellevue in Beaufort North. Kikane's Tasty Delights. Right. And the last one for this evening, I stress for this evening, this is not the last one, is Mr. Kyle John. Minister, no heckling allowed. No heckling allowed. So just to clarify, there are options. There is grant funding and there is loan funding. And we hope for many other opportunities for investment as well in the future. Grant funding, it is a smaller amount than the loan funding, and according to the form that you will fill, a lot of you in here, it's up to $5,000, but you can, if you need more, request more. The grant fund will not fund construction, but it will fund equipment, it will fund tools, it will fund the other things that you may need to inject into your business for the growth of your business. And no, you will not just ask for grant funding and receive it just because you've asked. You will go through the process. The business development officer will sit with you, will get an understanding of your business, will get an understanding of where you have been and where you plan to go, and give you all the necessary tools and hand-holding necessary to help you build your business. And that may mean that you may think you need money, but what you really need is training. In an area, it might be in communications and marketing, it might be in financial management, it might be in you just understanding how to do your own business planning. We will be here at the Youth Economy Agency to ensure that you succeed. And loan funding, as the name suggests, will be loaning that you will be required to pay back. Don't buy the jeans with it. But with loan funding, you will have the opportunity to apply for, I interviewed a young man yesterday, and what he really believes he needs, because he needs to expand his distribution, is a vehicle. And I look forward to seeing his loan application so that we can process to help him get out of the small area in Marshall and possibly distribute all the way down to Chazelle, in Beaufort, and so on, so everybody can taste his tasty cashew brittle, as well as moringa jam, I believe. Yeah? We have some awesome ideas coming to the Youth Economy Agency. I can't begin to tell you because, of course, we're supposed to be ending soon and y'all are hungry and there's food outside. But please, access our website, and as soon as our doors are open, we will inform you via mass media so that you can access our office so that we can serve you, the youth of St. Lucia. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
So you heard Minister Casimir say that the government has put its money where its mouth is. And next, it's for us to do the same. For so long, we have clamored for greater support for our young people, and here the agency is giving them that support through training and financing. But we have to buy the products. We have to support the businesses. They need to have viable entities that are making money, that are real revenue streams to support them and their families. So I challenge you to do just as the government did and put your money where your mouth is by supporting our young people. And I'll do a bit of ambush marketing here. We are so open to extension officers or, extension offices. Soufriere Regional Development Foundation would love to partner on something like that, Mr. Leos. So whenever you're ready for the extension officer down in Soufriere, I'm sure Minister Emma Hippolyte is more than willing to make that happen. I know her passion for young people and their development. So we're rounding up at this point, for real, this time. To deliver the closing remarks, put your hands together and welcome Mr. Nikolai Lansico.
Good night, everybody. I know it's late, so I'll be brief. Protocols have already been established. I want to just mention some of our social partners. That is very important. Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, the Invest St. Lucia, Export St. Lucia, St. Lucia Development Bank. I know they've been mentioned quite a few times by the Prime Minister, the St. Lucia Agricultural Forum for Youth, Helen's Daughters, the National Youth Council, Belfon, and of course, the Young Entrepreneurs. Good night, everybody. And thank you for coming to the launch of the Youth Economic Agency. I must express gratitude to the speakers who came before me, the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Kenson Kazimi. They put everything that embodies the youth economy into words tonight in terms of what our aims are, what we seek to do, and what the vision is for the agency in the upcoming months and years. The agency, as we would have told in the beginning by Mr. Finister, is designed to provide young persons with the tools needed to excel in the entrepreneurial market. And of course, the mandate of the Youth Economic Agency is to bridge that gap in unemployment, to give young persons that space to not just create employment for themselves, but to generate employment for other persons within their space. So a young person from Choiseul don't have to leave Choiseul to come to Grizzly to work, but they could create employment in Choiseul and hire persons in Choiseul, thus boosting that grassroots economy. All right. I want to say special thanks to the ambassador for Taiwan. I want us to give him a loud round of applause. And of course, the Prime Minister would have mentioned that Taiwan would have been instrumental in kickstarting the youth economy, in providing that seed money, that 137,000 EC dollars, that seed money for us to start off the youth economy, the Youth Economic Agency. And of course, we need to be realistic. We do not expect the youth economy to solve all of our young people's problems overnight, but this is a step in the right direction, and we are hoping that young persons will take advantage of this opportunity because it has never been afforded to them before. All right. With that being said, I'd like to thank all the entrepreneurs for coming here tonight, the recipients of the grants. I want to encourage persons to go onto the website, fill out the applications, whichever one that would best suit your level of business, whether it's a grant or loan. And of course, we are here to assist you. We are here to serve you. We have a cadre of business development officers, training and development officers, and of course we have a board who is willing and committed to go the extra mile. Thank you, everybody.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the launching ceremony for the Youth Economy Agency. Don't forget, outside our Business Expo, we have project cocktails. So if you're feeling a bit parched, you know what to do. We also have the local bites outside. There are samples as well. So that's part of our Business Expo. So do have fun, do enjoy. We also have refreshments waiting on you. Again, I'm lovely St. Amy Joseph. It has been a pleasure. Thank you all very much.